हाँ जी, गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीबॉडी। आवाज आ रही है क्या?
गुरु जी। मीटिंग अटेंड करो।
वो फोटोग्राफ अपलोड करना है, फोटोग्राफ को लाइब्रेरी के बाद से बंद हो जाएगी।
दादा विजिलेंस सरकार अंतर्गत आ रही है। विजिलेंस सरकार अंतर्गत कुछ लोग नहीं मिला अरे यार वो याद ही नहीं
बताइए
ओ साजी
बताइए
साजी वहाँ सेक्शन में कोई नहीं
किसे बोल रहे शॉर्ट सर्किट से पता कमेटी 1 मिनट में पता
हाँ ये क्यों फिर लाइब्रेरी खाली नहीं छोड़ सकते हैं ये कितने
देथा जी म्यूट करो अपने आप को। देथा जी म्यूट करो।
नहीं है आप ऊपर सीट मत है ऑनलाइन।
देथा जी म्यूट कर दो, म्यूट अपने आप को।
विपिन जी गुड मॉर्निंग।
गुड मॉर्निंग सर, गुड मॉर्निंग।
हेलो
नीचे देखोगे म्यूट बटन होगा एक, उस पर हाथ दबाएं, म्यूट हो जाएगा। आपकी आवाज नहीं आएगी हमको, नहीं तो आप जो बोल रहे हैं यहाँ तक सुनाई आ रही है। नीचे देखोगे जहाँ वीडियो स्टॉप है वहाँ म्यूट का बटन भी है एक।
कर दिया होगा कैलाश जी ने।
कर दिया? ठीक।
हाँ दिख रहा है ना सामने।
चल ओके, थैंक यू भाई। गुड मॉर्निंग सर।
डॉक्टर विपिन गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीवन फ्रेंड्स।
गुड मॉर्निंग सर।
सर shall we start sir? We will start with ICR song sir.
डॉक्टर साहब शुरू करें।
हाँ श्योर श्योर सर। यस सर, आई एम टेकिंग योर परमिशन। ओके सुरजीत शुरू करो भाई ICR सॉन्ग।
ये सब कंट्रोल अपने पास रखो।
नहीं आया?
विपिन जी साउंड नहीं है इसमें।
हाँ इसमें साउंड नहीं आई।
हाँ मुकेश जी कर रहे थे, पता नहीं कुछ एरर हो गई। एनीवे वी हैव सीन द audio part. So sir, with the kind permission of director and today's President of this session, chairman of this session. I welcome everybody on this talk. This talk we have organized purposely because we are observing the Vigilance Awareness Week. So just to give you the genesis that why this is necessary and why we are doing this, you might be knowing just to put embargo on the corruption. The government of India has created a Central Vigilance Commission in 1964. It is the apex body which is fighting against the corruption in the country, and it has been given the statutory powers in 2003. It is a purely autonomous, independent body, not coming under any of the ministry, and it is headed by a CVC, that is Chief Vigilance Commissioner, which is appointed by President of India on the behest of our Honorable PM. PM usually constitute one committee which nominate certain name, and these names are later endorsed by the President, and then in this way the Chief Vigilance Commissioner elected, and it is taking care of around 1,500 central government offices which are there in our country. And in each office, we are having a vigilance cell, which is headed by the Chief Vigilance Officer. And at all the offices, we are having the VO, that means Vigilance Officer, which is taking care of the activity of the whether any corruption is going on in the institute or not. If some activities, such kind of activities are there, they are reported to the CVO of the institute, and we are having a director above us who is looking after all these things. And here at the district level, we are having the CBI, and we are having the regular meeting with the CBI in this regard. In this way, this Vigilance Commission works. We are fortunate that our institute level, we don't have any vigilance inquiry and such kind of things. We can attribute this to our good governance, because we are having such a dynamic director, and we are having a very good administrative and finance section at the helms of our affair. So the Vigilance Awareness Week usually organized at the behest of the Central Vigilance Commission, and which is usually fall in the last week of October, because on this we used to have the birthday of our Iron Man, Sardar Patel. So it is a rule that we are going to celebrate this Vigilance Aware Week in the last week of the October. So we are celebrating this from 26th October to 1st of the November, and we have kept one talk on the code of conduct. Also, it is certain that we all know that there are certain code of conduct which bind us, all the government officials, but we don't know what are these. So just to put some light on these code of conduct, I requested our Chief Finance and Accounts Officer, Srimati Sunita Arya, to give a talk on this. So though this is not the domain of her, but she readily agrees to give a talk on because the code of conduct is very, very huge. So some pertinent points she will going to tell us that this is good. So, but this is all what we are going to do today. So before we start our lecture, I would like to request our director to give his remark on this occasion. So, sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Vipin, for the introductory remarks, and also thanks a lot for. Am I audible, Vipin?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir. Well.
And thanks also to you to make arrangement of this very important talk on a very relevant occasion. And we have one of the best speakers in the institute and for this job. And though each one of you knows her very well, in spite of her specialization being, the financial aspect, she is one person who takes equal interest in overall management of the institute beyond finance, and also in certain administrative matters, because when you work as a team, then definitely each team member is so important. And it's good that she agreed readily, and this is one initiative which was basically so essential. And you see, every time we do celebrate the Vigilance Awareness Week, and quite often we think that things are all right, quite often, and they seem all right, they are all right. But behind this, a lot of thinking, a lot of procedure, a lot of carefulness is going on. What some of you might be calling some algorithms taking place in the background of some equation, where you finally see the output. But what are the algorithms that are going on behind that output? Many of us don't realize. And this is exactly the thing when Dr. Vipin Chaudhary said that fortunately we didn't have any kind of the vigilance right now or even in the past. This shows that those people who are responsible for running those algorithms, they are doing their job. And that's why many of us may think that things are absolutely all right. Things are all right, it's good, but they are made all right. And for that, a lot of people do a lot of homework in the background. And what are the potential risks if we don't do this? And what are the prescribed guidelines to follow those prescribed guidelines? So this is the platform on which not only Sunita will basically guide us, but I also assume that our senior AO is also online. Indraj, you are with us?
Sir, I just requested him. He is preparing some report, sir. You have given some work, so
Okay, no issue. But in case he's listening, we will also appreciate his remarks in the end, because his expert is in the administration, the total procedure. But if not, for whatever reason, then probably we can have it a small talk from him. Maybe beyond this Vigilance Awareness Week, because our overall objective is to sensitize people, right? So which is very important, because the vigilance is beyond finance. It is not that somebody, if is involved with the financial irregularities, only then vigilance can be initiated. Basically, it is finance as well as administration, and not only this. Even your good conduct is a part of the expectation from each one of us by the system. And good conduct doesn't stop even after your retirement. To continue to avail the pensionary benefits from the Indian Council of Agriculture Research or from any government organization, the good conduct is essential part of it. And you see, because of all these things, there is a well-defined procedure in acquiring the goods and services, in following the purchase procedure, showing the conduct, showing the respect to the system, and showing the responsibility that each one of us has been assigned according to the ICAR guidelines, according to the Constitution of India at a larger scale. And for that matter, I think Sunita will explain in detail, but let me tell you a couple of small things which we must understand, and we must appreciate and acknowledge that even if you do 1,000 correct things in the procedure in the official capacity, and knowingly or unknowingly one mistake is committed, there is no provision to defend yourself that I did 1000 right things, but unknowingly I committed one mistake. System doesn't provide that much flexibility to any of us. Right from the SSG up to director in the institute level and up to even cabinet secretary, which is the highest officer in the government of India. So basically thing is that we all are expected to have a good conduct, respect the procedure, and in case you are not aware of the procedure, that doesn't mean that the procedure doesn't exist. Procedure is there. So let us be very clear that each one of us have to play a role, and we cannot take a kind of stand that if I work, only then mistake will happen. We have to work, but working doesn't give you the license to commit mistakes. And those mistakes can be of any type. Hiding of the information. If some FIR has been filed against any of the employee, he or she is supposed to inform the office that such and such FIR, though the matter may be totally unofficial, in which the FIR has been lodged. So this is one example you see, and quite often, not quite often, but in certain cases, it had happened in our institute for the last few years. And when this office took cognizance of this, the person tried to defend that I was not aware of this. Friends, we all are educated people. We are part of the government of India, and we are public servant. We are not public, we are public servant. So by that definition, we are answerable to so many things. So I think on this occasion, I'm really very happy, Bipin, that you took initiative, because the overall purpose is to make you aware. And once you are aware, the probability of committing mistake knowingly or unknowingly are significantly reduced. Even if you are bold enough to commit mistakes, even after Vipin or Sunita made awareness to your knowledge, you are free to do that. Nobody can stop you or any of us. So my only sincere request is that let us appreciate the system which is basically made to protect all of us. Many a time, you see, I get a kind of comment from my own colleagues that system is here to help us. Yes, system is here to help us, but system is here to protect us also. That's why, 2 months before retirement, we get a vigilance clearance from ICR. And we are doing it very regularly in whole ICR. And this is one thing, which has happened in the recent past. Let me appreciate the efforts of our present DG. The number of the vigilance cases have been significantly brought down than what it was in the past. So this is one thing, we all must proud of. We all must be proud of our leadership. That the number of the vigilance cases at some point of time were so high, particularly those people who are in the administration. So I think the part of this has been because we are making all our colleagues, right from the SSG up to the director or DDG, ADG or DG level, aware about the rules and regulations and what are the potential risks each one of us are running, because we are being getting salary from the public funds. So thank you very much, Vipin, and I'm sure each one of you will take typical note of all those do's and don'ts that Sunita will basically explain to us. And Vipin, I would again repeat that in case if it is not possible to take the comments from our senior AO, let us have it in the next week or next to next week.
Yeah.
Because being aware is basically for our help. The aware people will take conscious, better decision, a mature decision. So thank you very much. Over to you, Vipin.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. You have informed us so many things about the code of conduct, and you rightly said that being the government servant, being the public employee, it is our right to inform what is wrongdoing or what is what we are doing to the office. Say, for example, when we are purchasing something, we have to inform our office. So this also comes under the purview of code of conduct. Thank you very much, sir. Now, sir, before I request our speaker to start her talk, I would like to introduce our speaker to the office. Though she is not a new face to the office, she is a very well-known figure because she was here in the Kajri, and I think she started her professional career from the Kajri itself. She joined Kajri as a technical officer, computer application, long back in the 2096 or so. And here in Kajri itself, she prepared for this examination of the FAO, which ICR used to conduct. And because the talent never remains hidden, so she through the examination and she became the finance officer in 2001. Please mute yourself. Please mute yourself. So, so she became FAO in 2001 and joined at headquarters. She remained there in the headquarters up to 2019, and there she became the senior finance officer. And then as a chief finance and accounts officer, she joined the Kajri. And since then, she is here. If we look at her, some of the remarkable work, she was the integral part of ICR system because she has handled both accounts and budget at the headquarters. For us, because we are the laymen, we feel that budget and account is the same, but it is a different thing. So she has handled both there, and she did some notable job at the headquarters. Some of among them are the implementation of the accrual of accounting system and NPS in the ICR. The new fellows are knowing that NPS, which is now in force at ICR, she is the kingpin who has implemented this NPS system, and also she was the part of PFMS implementation team, and she was CPIO finance for almost 10 years at the headquarters. She was also instrumental in imparting so many trainings at various levels, and currently she is the part of HRD system of the ICR, particularly in the finance and accounts. So these are the few feats or the few things which she has done. We all know that she is very capable finance officer, which we are having here. And a quality part of her is that she is a very cheerful lady. Whenever you go in her room, she will ask you that please sit, and then she will offer a cup of tea, which is usually not happen with the finance people, because I have seen 4 or 5 finance people. I have never had a tea with the other people. Of course, we had a tea with Sunita for 2 or 3 occasions. So she is such a nice person. So with this remark, I request her to please share your talk on code of conduct with us, so that we will be aware that what are do's and what are don't as a public officers. So now the stage is over to you, Sunita, please.
Thank you so much. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Thank you so much for the kind words. And before I start, a good afternoon to each one of you, especially to Director Saab and Vipin Chaudhary sir. It's like a privilege for me to have got an opportunity to speak on a topic which is of course not my domain, and but certainly since I am a part of government systems, I should also be knowing what exactly is the topic and what is expected out of all of us. So with this, thanking you once again, Director Saab, as well as Vipin sir, for such kind words and encouraging words. I would say I would start my session. I won't call it a session or lecture or anything. It's just information sharing with all of you to the extent I know, and and I expect that we learn in the process. All of us learn in the process. So I would start sharing my screen now. Just let me know if you cannot see the presentation file. Okay. Just take a moment and I'll do that. Can you see this?
Yeah, your screen is shared and you are audible. So please.
Okay, that's wonderful. So again, a very good afternoon to each one of you. And we are here to discuss or to understand general issues related to code of conduct. See, this is one topic which consists of only, I mean, if I talk about the rules, there are only 25 rules. But then it's a vast subject. It's like an ocean of information, but consisting of rules and government decisions from time to time. But so I would like to cover very general things in this. I would not enter into the detailing of each topic. I would just be brushing up so that we at least have some idea about it, and we definitely can have more sessions with people who are expert in the topic later on. This is like, because these are the things which we must be doing every time we are performing in the government office. Before we start, let us understand why do we have to follow the code of conduct? What exactly is code of conduct? Why should we be actually knowing about it? The thing is, when we say that we are a public servant, we are a government servant, that means that we are drawing the funds from the public fund. Director साहब ने अभी बताया था कि हम लोग public fund से पैसा ले रहे हैं. तो जब हम public fund से पैसा ले रहे हैं, consolidated fund of India का एक penny भी हम लोग use कर रहे हैं अपने purpose के लिए, जिसके लिए हम service कर रहे हैं, we committed ourselves to the government, to the employment of the government, कि जहाँ पर हम पब्लिक मनी से हमारी सैलरी ड्रॉ करेंगे और हम लायबल हो जाते हैं कि गवर्नमेंट हमसे क्या बिहेवियर एक्सपेक्ट करती है. उस पैसे को जो हम पब्लिक मनी को यूज कर रहे हैं, उस पैसे के टुवर्ड्स हमारी जिम्मेदारी बन जाती है कि हम किस तरह गिव करेंगे और हम किस तरह से हमारे गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसीज के हक में, गवर्नमेंट डिसीजंस के हक में, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के हक में हम लोग काम करेंगे. इसीलिए रिक्वायर्ड है कि हम एक जनरल बिहेवियर ऐसा मेंटेन करें या रूल्स एंड गाइडेंस जो गवर्नमेंट ने सेट करी है वो मेंटेन करें, उसको हम फॉलो करें, ताकि हम गवर्नमेंट के प्रति हमारी जो जिम्मेदारी है उसको अच्छे से निभा सकें. इसीलिए ये रूल बने हैं. गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया रूल आर्टिकल 309 जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का है, वो कहता है कि कोई भी गवर्नमेंट सर्वेंट, चाहे वो रेलवेज में आता है, चाहे वो ऑल इंडिया सर्विस में आता है, चाहे हम लोग जैसे सारे गवर्नमेंट सर्वेंट हैं, हम लोग जब गवर्नमेंट की सर्विस अडॉप्ट करते हैं तो हमसे एक्सपेक्टेड है, हमारे लिए एक्सपेक्टेड है कि कुछ हमारे लिए गाइडलाइंस बन जाए जिसके तहत हमको काम करना है. सो व्हेन आई से वी आर वॉकिंग ऑन द रोड ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट, मीन्स गवर्नमेंट ने एक रोड ले आउट करी है जिसमें हमको चलना है, तो उसी तरीके से चलना है जैसा हमको कहा गया है. अगर गवर्नमेंट कहती है लेफ्ट में जाना है तो लेफ्ट में जाएंगे, राइट में जाना है तो राइट में जाएंगे. वी जस्ट कैन नॉट हैव आवर ओन ओपिनियन ऑन दिस बिकॉज वी आर गवर्नमेंट सर्वेंट. वी हैव चोजन टू द सर्विस व्हिच वी हैव made a choice of. Number 2 point is this कि हम जो पब्लिक सर्वेंट्स हैं, हम जैसा बिहेव करते हैं या हम जैसी बात करते हैं या हम जैसा अपना ऑफिशियल वर्क कंडक्ट करते हैं, हम अपनी ऑफिशियल ड्यूटीज परफॉर्म करते हैं, वही छवि बनाती है सरकार की. हम बहुत अच्छे से समझे कि हम किसी सरकारी सिस्टम में जाते हैं और हम जाके देखते हैं कि वहां पे करप्शन प्रेवलेंट है, या वहां पे लोग काम नहीं कर रहे हैं, सो रहे हैं, या कोई हमको एंटरटेन नहीं कर रहा है, या कोई हमसे रूडली बात कर रहा है, उनका बिहेवियर हार्श है, उनका कंडक्ट हार्श है, तो हमारी इमेज सरकार के लिए वैसे बन जाती है कि सरकार भी ऐसी है. सो हम लोगों को, हम जो सरकारी गवर्नमेंट के तहत काम कर रहे हैं, सरकारी नौकर की तरह काम कर रहे हैं, तो हमारी ये ड्यूटी है कि हमारा कंडक्ट, हमारी ऑफिशियल ड्यूटीज, हमारा पर्सनालिटी, हमारी पॉजिटिविटी सब ये रिफ्लेक्ट करे कि गवर्नमेंट इज आल्सो डूइंग अ ग्रेट जॉब द वे वी हैव बीन असाइन्ड टू डू. So we should understand that we have certain duties. Conduct की जहाँ तक हम बात करें, so these are not only applicable when we are working in a government system. It would similarly be applicable in a private company or a corporate sector or otherwise in our private lives also. So if we are conducting well, we are giving our own, we are actually reflecting our own positivity and our own nature as to what we are. So that is what is called normal conduct. I would definitely be covering what is expected out of the central government servant. So here this is, when I talk about code of conduct, the first thing I'm saying is what is expected of a person in public employment. Employment का मतलब यहाँ पर क्या है? The employment essentially involves curtailment of freedom of action to the extent it is necessary to safeguard the interests of the employer. बहुत सिंपल सी बात है कि हम लोग वैसे फ्री ह्यूमन बींग्स हैं, हम लोग जो चाहे करें, लेकिन जब हम सर्विस में आते हैं, हम लोग एक ऑफिस में आते हैं, चाहे वो प्राइवेट हो चाहे वो पब्लिक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हो, वहां पर हमारी फ्रीडम को कुछ कर्टेलमेंट मिलता है. हम we would fly only the way government wants us to fly. We just cannot do what we like to do, right? So we have to understand कि हमारा conduct, हमारा बातचीत करने का तरीका, हमारे ऑफिशियल काम करने का तरीका has to be the way which suits the government, which actually has the interest of the sovereignty of India as well as the Constitution of India. We should understand this very clearly. Employment हमारी freedom को curtail करता to the extent we are supposed to work and to the extent it is supposed to safeguard the interest of the employer. In our case, the employer is government of India, right? Employee. Why I'm saying, despite being, you might say that despite being the coming from the autonomous organization, I'm again calling myself as government of India. Why? Because we are still drawing the salary from government of India. Consolidated fund of India से हमको grant in aid मिलती है, जिससे हमारा घर चलता है, हमारी salary मिल रही है, जो हमने opt किया है. This is why I would say we are government of India, right? So employee कौन होते हैं? The person who has been employed for the wages, right? In other words, the employer is duty bound to promote the interest of the employer. Employer हमारे केस में गवर्नमेंट है, तो हमको गवर्नमेंट के इंटरेस्ट को प्रमोट करना है, and we must refrain from any activity which is prejudicial to the interest. We should not be doing anything which is harmful to the image of the government also. Okay. Capacity की बात करते हैं. जब तक the employee must himself possess the capacity to perform duties of the employment. जब मैं कह रही हूँ कि I am coming to government service, means I should have the capacity to perform my job. This is, otherwise I should not be choosing something like this. Obedience, everybody understand the meaning of obedience, that we should be obeying every lawful order of the government of India. Good faith and fidelity, the employee must be acting faithfully, and they should safeguard the interest of the employer at all times. We should be taking care of every job which has been entrusted to us, and we should be doing our response. We should be discharging our responsibilities properly to the interest of the government. Punctuality, the employee must be punctual in attending assigned duties. आपको duties देखिए, punctual का मतलब 10 से 5 की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं. ऑफिस तो आना ही है, certainly जो हमारा टाइम है assigned उसमें आना है. Punctuality means we have been given certain deadlines. उन deadlines को भी हमको meet करना है, because whatever deadlines we are given, that has some impact somewhere else. So we should understand कि हमको अगर 5 तारीख की डेट दी गई है, तो शायद ये 6 तारीख को किसी और को सबमिट किया जाना है, तो हमको 5 तारीख की डेट दी गई है. So we should be punctual, we should be kind of attentive in taking the instructions, and we should be performing our duties likewise. Selflessness, we must understand that we are here for the government, right? We are here to serve the public. We are holding the position of the public, right? हमको public service के लिए choose किया गया है, तो we should be doing our job selflessly. इसमें अपना personal interest कुछ नहीं होना चाहिए. We should not be doing anything which should promote my, our own financial gain. Right? Integrity, as all of us understand that the holders of public office should not place themselves under any financial or any other obligation to the outside individuals. किसी financial या किसी और तरह की obligation में हमको नहीं आना है. हमको integrity maintain करनी है, हमको loyalty maintain करनी है to the employer who has employed us. So we should not get influenced, and we should not get influenced in any way so that so as to have any impact on our performance. In the next one, objectivity, we should make choices to make our decisions. जो भी decisions हैं जो हम लेते हैं ऑफिस में, वो merits के ऊपर लिए जाने चाहिए, bias नहीं होने चाहिए, public interest में होने चाहिए, और हमेशा ये देखा जाना चाहिए कि उसमें कोई अपना पर्सनल इंटरेस्ट भी ना हो. अकाउंटेबिलिटी की जब हम बात करें, तो हम लोग सारे लोग हमारे अपने अपने डिसीजंस को लेके अकाउंटेबल हैं. वी शुड नॉट थिंक दैट ओके आई हैव साइंड द फाइल, माय जॉब इज ओवर, मेरे से ऊपर जो साइन करेगा उसकी अकाउंटेबिलिटी नो. एवरी पर्सन इन द चेन इज अकाउंटेबल व्हेन दे आर परफॉर्मिंग एनी जॉब. द चेन इज टू परफॉर्म द ड्यूटी, द चैनल इज to streamline things, but then each one of us is accountable, so we should be doing our job accordingly. That we should be accountable, we should know how to take the responsibility and accept accountability. Openness, we should always be open about our decisions. Okay, whatever decision we're taking, whether it's yes or no, which might bring in happiness, which might not bring that much happiness, but yes, there should be an openness, and that should be substantiated with the rules and guidelines which the government has given to us. So there's nothing which is kind of personal here in the office. There's nothing which is kind of which should invite biasness in the office. So openness has is expected out of all of us. Honesty, as I told you, there shouldn't be any private interest in performing the job. So honesty is the topmost thing. If you are honest, loyalty, integrity, everything would follow definitely. Leadership, okay. So holders of the public office, हम लोग सारे holders of public office के, we should promote and support these principles by leadership. हमको lead करना है. Suppose we are in a supervisory position, so we need to ensure ourselves that the person working below us, they are having the same sentiment like loyalty, integrity, and they should also perform their job to the best of their abilities, right, in the public interest. Devotion to duty, sir, like pura ek slide isme aa gaya hai. So we should understand it. Devotion to duty means commitment to the task assigned. जो भी task हमको assign किया गया है, अगर वो काम हम अच्छे से कर रहे हैं, that is then we are called devoted towards the duties, right? So it's a very simple devotion to duties का मतलब ये नहीं कि सुबह 9-10 से 5 का ऑफिस होता है, 9 से 6 रुकना है. It's like हमको assigned काम, जो हमको काम assign किया गया है, उसको हमको committedly करना है और devotedly करना है. Indisputably, duty is like a debt, and it has to be discharged without delay or demur. A civil servant must perform his or her duties honestly and to the best of one's ability. He or she must abide by the rules and live by the discipline of the service. She or he must act without fear or favor. हमको अगर रूल्स पता है, हमको पता है हमारा काम क्या है, तो हमको किसी चीज का डर होता है, तो हमको किसी को फेवर करना पड़ता है, किसी का फेवर लेना पड़ता है. It's likewise, and we must serve to promote public interest. Basically, the key word is that we are public servant and we should be working public interest. That is it. So delay, कोई भी तरह का delay, कोई भी तरह की biasness, कोई भी तरह का favor लेना या देना, everything is unacceptable, right? And it is not lawful also. So government servant who habitually, now this last para is important, the government servant who habitually fails to perform the task assigned to him or her within the set timeline and with the purpose for which the task was given, and the quality of performance expected of this shall be deemed to be lacking in devotion to duty. So we should understand devotion to duty does not mean attending the office solely. It means that we should be doing the assigned duty with purpose, with integrity, with devotion, and with the dexterity which is expected out of all of us. Coming to the next slide, what is the term misconduct? अगर हम कंडक्ट की बात करना चाहते हैं तो हमको पहले पता होना चाहिए मिसकंडक्ट क्या होता है. मिसकंडक्ट की जब हम बात करेंगे, so we'll say doing something which the government servant is not expected to do is a misconduct. अगर हमसे, लेकिन क्या expected to do है, that would be defined by the rule. लेकिन जो हमसे expected है कि हमको ये नहीं करना है, अगर वो कर रहे हैं, so that would be called misconduct. Not doing something which we are supposed to do. Both the ways. काम नहीं करके गलती नहीं करना is not an excuse. काम करके गलती करके सुधारना is always better, right? But then ऐसा कोई काम ना करें जो कंडक्ट रूल्स के खिलाफ हो, या बिल्कुल ही काम ना करें, वो भी कंडक्ट रूल में नहीं आता है. So we have to understand that. So we'll be doing something which we are supposed to do, and we should not be doing something which we are not supposed to do, right? Non-performance of designated work. आप कोई काम assign किया, अगर आप नहीं कर रहे हो, that is also called a misconduct. So we cannot just do away with this because we are drawing the salary. We are accountable to every penny that we are taking out of the public fund. Failure to perform a single duty out of the number of duties also constitute as misconduct. आपको 10 duties दी गए, एक भी नहीं करा, जैसे अभी सर ने बताया था, 100 अच्छे काम करे, 99 अच्छे काम करे, एक छोटा सा काम गलत हो गया. So that doesn't define कि हमने सारे काम हमने जो करा वो जो नहीं किया वो मिसकंडक्ट नहीं माना जाएगा. That would be a misconduct. Negligence, incompetency due to negligence, दोनों भी मिसकंडक्ट माना जाएगा. Willful disobedience, हमको काम दिया जा रहा है, हमारे सुपीरियर हमको ऑर्डर्स दे रहे हैं because they have been delegated the powers to do so. It's not that if we say that some person is director of the institute, or the person is chief of finance, or chief of admin, or head of division, they have been assigned certain powers, but power never comes without the responsibilities. So responsibility भी है, power भी है, बताना भी है, तो जो भी supervisor होगा वो काम assign करेगा, delegate करेगा नीचे according to the power that have invested with him. So disobedience to willful disobedience again is unlawful. Okay, so we have to understand that would amount to insubordination, definitely would be called a misconduct. Violation of service conditions, हर जो कंडक्ट की हम बात करते हैं, सर्विस रूल्स की बात करते हैं, 309 ये कहता है कि एक सरकारी एम्प्लॉयमेंट में हम गवर्नमेंट सर्विस में किसी को लेकर आ रहे हैं, उसको भर्ती करने की प्रक्रिया और उससे काम करवाने की प्रक्रिया, उससे क्या एक्सपेक्टेड है, वो कंडक्ट, उसका बिहेवियर, रूल्स, गाइडलाइंस, वो सारी जो हैं वो कंडीशंस हैं सर्विस करने की। ये सारे कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट इज द कंडीशन ऑफ द सर्विस व्हिच वी आर होल्डिंग, राइट, द पब्लिक ऑफिस व्हिच वी आर होल्डिंग। उसका वायलेशन इज डेफिनेटली अ मिसकंडक्ट एंड दैट वुड एक्चुअली इनवाइट a vigilance case or a disciplinary action proceeding against the person who is misconducting. Possessing doubtful integrity. We all of us understand honesty, loyalty, integrity are all one and same. So अगर doubtful integrity है, so that would also be a misconduct. Omissions, अभी तो हमने बात करी specifically हाई टर्म्स, लेकिन छोटे छोटे बहुत सिंपलर टर्म्स में जो हम समझते हैं ओमिशंस क्या हो सकते हैं, जो मिसकंडक्ट को लीड करते हैं, जो मिसकंडक्ट को अमाउंट करते हैं। ओमिशंस व्हिच हिंडर, आपकी परफॉर्मेंस को जो कम करते हैं, जो आपकी परफॉर्मेंस को नेगेटिवली इंपैक्ट करते हैं, दे आल्सो अमाउंट टू मिसकंडक्ट। बहुत सिंपल है, लेट कमिंग टू द ऑफिस, अर्ली गोइंग फ्रॉम ऑफिस बिकॉज़ you're performing the job, reading newspaper on duty, of course, see, this is one thing which has been defined, reading newspaper on duty or sleeping on duty or doing private job, union work on duty, or loitering and whiling away the time. So that is again called misconduct. So all of us need to understand that we are not actually getting, used to all these things. Coming to the rules directly, CSET Conduct Rule 1964, authority, as I've told you, Article 309 of the Constitution. 64 में बना, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉयज के लिए अलग है, रेलवे एम्प्लॉयज के लिए अलग है, और ऑल इंडिया सर्विस के लिए अलग है। When I say all India service, I'm talking of IAS, IPS and IFS. जो ये तीन सर्विसेज हैं, those are called all India services because those are centrally governed. That all other IAS offices, जो बाकी जो ऑल इंडिया सर्विस में आते हैं, लेकिन क्यों उन पे लागू नहीं होंगे ये वाले रूल्स, क्योंकि वो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट, स्टेट कैडर के होते हैं, तो स्टेट कैडर के, स्टेट के रूल्स उन पे लागू होते हैं, उनके कंडक्ट रूल्स होंगे वो स्टेट से गवर्न होंगे। So these are the rules which govern us, all of us, right, ICR employees per se. So general rule 1 and 2 actually deal with general thinking. Concept है क्या है, that all government employees are required to adhere to certain standards of conduct both in their official and private capacities. Mind it, private capacity, as sir also said, I would emphasize on the same, कि even if you are drawing pension भी consolidated fund of India से आ रहा है, तो हमारा conduct तब भी अच्छा होना चाहिए, otherwise your pension can also be taken away. So we should understand that since we are drawing penny, we are taking out money from the public fund, either in service or after service, we are supposed to, have the conduct, we have to certainly conduct in a certain way. So we should understand everything which are defined in these rules. Let's understand it one by one. Date of effect, 30th November 1964, उस दिन से लागू हुआ। उससे पहले बहुत सारे मॉडिफिकेशंस होते हुए इस डेट को फाइनल किया गया 64 में, 30 नवंबर से लागू हुआ। It came into effect immediately. Applicability, as I've told you, all government servants except railways, because they have their own conduct rules. All India services, as I told you, those are governed by state cadres, so they are governed by the state cadres, and cases were specified by the president. अगर प्रेसिडेंट ने बोला है ये रूल्स इन सर्विसेज पे लागू नहीं होंगे तो नहीं होंगे। We must understand कि जब हम हायरार्की की बात करते हैं गवर्नमेंट सेटअप में, तो प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया is at the top most, second is vice president of India, third is, we have to understand the hierarchy also. अगर हमारे पास आता है PM is at third position, fourth is governor of the state. Likewise, we have like around 26 such channels जिसके तहत हमको काम करना है, but that's something which I'm not covering now. कंडक्ट रूल में जब हम बात करते हैं, रूल नंबर 3 पे आते हैं। रूल नंबर 3 इज द मोस्ट पावरफुल रूल व्हिच शुड अंडरस्टैंड। इस रूल नंबर 3 में मैं आपको ज्यादा से ज्यादा चीजें इसी में दिखाने वाली हूँ, बिकॉज दिस इज वन ऑफ द रूल्स जिसपे सबसे ज्यादा डिसिप्लिनरी प्रोसीडिंग्स अराइज आउट होती है। सबसे ज्यादा प्रोसीडिंग, सबसे ज्यादा कंडक्ट के लिए, आप मिसकंडक्ट के लिए जो पैरा बनते हैं या मिसकंडक्ट के लिए किसी को मतलब डिसिप्लिनरी प्रोसीडिंग्स फेस करने पड़ते हैं, वो रूल 3 में मैक्सिमम होते हैं। So I'll most probably covering most of the things on rule 3, right? It's the most operative rule in the code of conduct. The fundamental requirement of these rules are This rule is what? Integrity, honesty, efficiency, and good behavior. ये बहुत अच्छे से मेंटेन करना जरूरी है. It also takes the form of residual rules. जहां पर कोई और रूल फिट नहीं हो पा रहा है, रूल 3 के तहत डिसिप्लिनरी प्रोसीडिंग शुरू हो जाती है. So these are residual rules also. So we should understand कि रूल 3 को हम लोग अच्छे से समझें. इसके अंदर जितनी भी गाइडलाइंस दी गई हैं उसको हम अच्छे से फॉलो करें. So they define everything, you know, कि क्या करना है और क्या नहीं करना है. Coming to rule 3(1), सब rule 1 की बात कर रहे हैं. जनरल पॉइंट्स मैंने कुछ मर्ज भी कर दी हैं और कुछ मैंने स्किप भी कर दिए हैं, राइट. जो हमसे डील करते हैं मैंने मोस्टली वो लिए हैं. There are 26 but I have shortened the list. Maintain absolute integrity, I've already talked. Maintain devotion to duty, I've already talked. Assigned job को काम से उसको निष्पक्षता से करना, उसको अच्छे से करना, इस पर डिवोशन टू ड्यूटी, राइट. डू नथिंग unbecoming of a government servant. जो गवर्नमेंट सर्वेंट से एक्सपेक्टेड है कि गवर्नमेंट सर्वेंट ये काम करेगा, ऐसा कोई काम जो नहीं किया जाना चाहिए, ऐसा डिफाइंड है, वो हम नहीं करेंगे. वो बहुत ज्यादा एक्सपेक्टेड है. कमिट हिमसेल्फ टू एंड अपहोल्ड द सुप्रीमेसी ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. एज वी नो कि 309 के तहत मिसकंडक्ट रूल बने हैं. हम लोग को वो सारे काम करने हैं जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन की सुप्रीमेसी को अपहोल्ड करता है, डेमोक्रेटिक वैल्यूज को अपहोल्ड करता है और हमारी इंडिया की सोवरेनिटी और इंटीग्रिटी को अपहोल्ड करता है. वी शुड अंडरस्टैंड कि हमको वो सारे काम करने के लिए कमिटेड रहना चाहिए. वी शुड मेंटेन हाई एथिकल स्टैंडर्ड्स, ऑनेस्टी एंड पॉलिटिकल न्यूट्रलिटी. हमको किसी भी पॉलिटिकल उसमें नहीं जाना चाहिए. वी शुड बी न्यूट्रल, वी शुड बी अपॉलिटिकल, राइट. प्रमोट द प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ मेरिट, fairness and impartiality in discharge of duties. I've already said the rules are defined properly, those are laid out properly. Government decisions are being given from time to time. हमको पढ़ते रहना चाहिए. तो impartiality या unfairness ऐसा कुछ कभी नहीं आएगा. We should be very very clear in our objective. क्या करना है, काम किस तरह से करना है और काम को पॉजिटिवली किसी लॉजिकल एंड पे ले जाना है. अगर ये हमारा मैंडेट रहेगा या हमारा प्रॉमिस खुद से रहेगा तो कभी किसी भी काम को करने में कोई डिफिकल्टी नहीं आएगी. मेंटेन अकाउंटेबिलिटी एंड ट्रांसपेरेंसी. ओपननेस रखनी है, अपनी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी भी समझनी है, अपनी जिम्मेदारी भी समझनी है, अपनी जो पावर्स है उसको भी समझना है. अगर इफ यू आर इन अ सुपरवाइजरी पोजीशन आपको वो भी समझना है, बट एट द सेम टाइम अकाउंटेबिलिटी समझनी है, ट्रांसपेरेंसी मेंटेन करनी है हर डिसीजन में, राइट. बिकॉज एवरीथिंग हैज टू बी अनबायस्ड, इट हैज टू बी इन पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट. Maintain responsiveness, courtesy and good behavior to the public. Public, when I say public, it's not that the general public की बात कर रहे हैं. When I say public, your own colleagues also, the people who come and meet you also, and otherwise the public, for the stakeholders and otherwise also. जहाँ भी हम अगर बाहर भी हैं, as I said, हम लोग गवर्नमेंट सर्वेंट है, हमारी छवि हमको सब जानते हैं, हमारे नोन या अननोन पीपल के हम लोग गवर्नमेंट ऑफिस की इस कैपेसिटी में काम कर रहे हैं, तो हम गवर्नमेंट को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं. सो आवर बिहेवियर और रिस्पॉन्सिवनेस, हमारी कर्टसी वैसी होनी चाहिए जो गवर्नमेंट की छवि को सुधारे, उसकी पॉजिटिविटी को रिफ्लेक्ट करे. टेक डिसीजंस सोनली इन पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट ऑन मैरिट. हमको जितने भी डिसीजंस लेने वो पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट पे लेने, एंड दैट टू ऑन मैरिट बेसिस, राइट. वी शुड अंडरस्टैंड. सो we must understand that our conduct should be such कि कोई भी impartiality, unfairness ना नजर आए किसी भी चीज में. And then use or cause to use the public resources, जो हमारे public resources like this room which has been given to me, the AC which has been given to me, I mean everything, whatever public resource I'm using, it has to be used efficiently, effectively and economically. Declare any private interest relating to his public duty. A government servant at all times is supposed to declare any private interest relating to his public duties and take steps to resolve any conflict in a way that protects the public interest. So the mandate is public interest. कुछ भी काम हम ऐसा जो होगा वो नहीं करेंगे जो public interest को हानि पहुंचाता हो. The employee should not place himself under any financial or other obligations. ये मैं आपको पहले बता चुकी हूँ, but I'm just reading out the rules. Not misuse his or her position as a civil servant and not take decisions in order to derive financial or material benefits for himself. खुद के लिए कोई benefit बनाने के लिए काम नहीं करना है. We are here to serve the public. We are doing the service for the public, for the government. So we should be, acting accordingly. Act with fairness and impartiality. हमको जितने भी काम करने हैं वो impartial होकर करने हैं, fairness से करने हैं, and we should not discriminate against anyone. Discrimination is not at all acceptable, particularly for the poor and underprivileged section of the society. मेंटेन डिसिप्लिन इन डिस्चार्ज ऑफ द ड्यूटी, हमको हमारे कंडक्ट में डिसिप्लिन हमेशा मेंटेन करना है किसी भी तरह का काम कर रहे हैं उसमें, एंड वी शुड बी लायबल टू इम्प्लीमेंट द लॉफुल ऑर्डर ड्यूली कम्युनिकेटेड टू अस थ्रू द गवर्नमेंट ऑर्डर्स, टू द रूल बुक्स एंड एवरीथिंग, राइट? Then we should maintain confidentiality. हमको confidential चीजें रखनी है बहुत सारी चीजों में in the performance of the official duties. Confidentiality कैसे करनी है? जहां जहां कोई भी चीज ऐसी है जहां इंफॉर्मेशन हम जिसके डिस्क्लोजर से, जिस इंफॉर्मेशन के डिस्क्लोजर से अगर सरकार की, हमारी इंडिया की गवर्नमेंट की, हमारे नेशन की सोवरेनिटी, इंटीग्रिटी या उसकी मतलब उनकी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन की जो छवि है उस पर कुछ इम्पैक्ट पड़ता है, तो ऐसी कोई इंफॉर्मेशन हम डिस्क्लोज नहीं करेंगे. दिस इज व्हाई आरटीआई एक्ट में भी बहुत क्लियरली डिफाइंड है. सो एवरी रोल दैट वी आर प्लेइंग, हर काम सब कुछ डिफाइंड है. वो हमेशा ये इंश्योर करता है, वो प्रोटेक्ट करता है कि सरकार की कोई भी सोवरेनिटी है या इंटीग्रिटी है या कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है हमारा या सरकार की पॉलिसीज पे कोई इम्पैक्ट ना पड़े. तो हमको बहुत रूल्स के तहत अच्छे से काम करना. वी आर नॉट फ्री टू एक्ट द वे वी वांट टू डू. सो वी आर बीइंग गवर्न्ड, वी आर बीइंग गाइडेड बाय these rules, right? So confidentiality maintain करनी in the performance of the duty as required by the laws, particularly with regard to the information disclosure of which may prejudicially affect the sovereignty and integrity of India. Perform and discharge the duty with the highest degree of professionalism and dedication to the best of the ability. Yeah, this is very very important कि हमको अपने कंडक्ट में अपने काम के करने के तरीके में हाईएस्ट डिग्री ऑफ प्रोफेशनल, जितना हमको आता है, हमारी जितनी कैपेसिटी है उसकी करेंगे. और देन वी शुड अंडरस्टैंड इट, ऑल ऑफ अस नीड टू ग्रो इन द सिस्टम. हम लोग जब शुरू में हमको बहुत कुछ पता नहीं होता, बट एज वी ग्रो इन द सिस्टम, एज वी पास एवरी पासिंग ईयर, वी शुड गेन मोर प्रोफेशनल acumen, we should gain more knowledge, we should understand our jobs better, our responsibilities better, and we should actually discharge in a much better way. Our superiors, our officers, the people, the constitution, I mean anybody, they should be proud of saying that okay, this person has come a long way, in acquiring the professional acumen. Otherwise the dedication will also increase, and the way they are performing the government job is absolutely acceptable and commendable. So that should be our endeavor, that we should be working in that. सब रूल 1 जो बहुत सिंपल जनरल कॉन्सेप्ट बता रहा था खत्म हुआ. सब रूल 2 की बात जब करते हैं रूल 3 में, उसमें सुपरवाइजरी पोस्ट के लिए है बेसिकली कि जो भी पीपल, एनी पर्सन, एनी पब्लिक ऑफिस who is holding supervisory post, they are supposed to take all possible steps to ensure the integrity and devotion of to duty of all his or her subordinates. मतलब अगर हम supervisory post में, तो ये हमारी ड्यूटी है कि हमारे नीचे जो लोग काम कर रहे हैं उनका devotion to duty is intact and they are working with absolute integrity. That is our duty. That's for this we are being given the supervisory role. For this we are being paid a little extra than them. This is what is expected out of us कि हम ensure करेंगे कि नीचे जो हमारे subordinates काम कर रहे हैं, they are also giving performing their jobs with absolute integrity and devotedly, right? Then employees are supposed to act in their best judgment in the performance of his official responsibilities, except when he's acting under the direction of the official superior. हम लोग को कोई काम असाइन किया गया, अब मुझे इसको किस तरह से करना है कि इसका बेस्ट आउटपुट निकल के आए, that's something which I can decide on my own. But then, unless and otherwise, if my superior has told me to carry out the job in a certain way, then I should be doing only in that certain way. I cannot just apply my own judgment there. So we should understand that way. Coming to the direction, आपको जॉब के लिए डायरेक्शन कैसे लेना है अपने सुपीरियर से. डायरेक्शन ऑफ द ऑफिशियल सुपीरियर शुड ऑलवेज बी इन राइटिंग. इट्स ऑलवेज सेड, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया डिसीजंस लिए कि जो भी डायरेक्शंस मिलते हैं वो जनरली राइटिंग में, हमेशा राइटिंग में होने चाहिए. वेयर ओरल डायरेक्शन इज अनअवॉइडेबल, लेकिन ऐसी स्थितियां भी आती है जहाँ पे ओरल डायरेक्शंस भी दिए जाते हैं, तो दैट शुड बी फॉलोड अप बाय द ऑफिशियल सुपीरियर इन राइटिंग सून देयर आफ्टर. उसके बाद उसको फिर से राइटिंग में लाना है, और एम्प्लॉय जिसने अपना ओरल डायरेक्शन लिया है वो भी इंश्योर करे that they should seek confirmation in writing later on, because this is how you complete your file. Your file should speak everything, not you. If you are not around, your file should speak everything about you. So this is again one very important direction. Coming to the next कैटेगरी रूल 3 में आ जाते हैं। हमने अभी सब रूल 1 और सब रूल 2 देखा। रूल 3 जो बोलता है एग्जैक्टली 3A 3B 3C 3 चीजें हैं। A is promptness is courtesy। हमको no government servant shall in performance of his official duties act in a discourteous manner। We should always be prompt to work, we should be courteous that way, and in his official dealings with the public or otherwise adopt dilatory tactics or willfully cause delays in disposal of the work assigned to them। So we should understand कि anything that we are doing, अगर हमने willfully delay किया किसी काम को, या हमने इस तरह की tactics अपनाई है जिसमें हम काम को जबरदस्ती delay कर दें या कहीं और उसको push कर दें इस तरह, ताकि वो public work में delay cause कर रहा है, so that would be noted as, that would be constituted as misconduct। We should understand। So we are supposed to be prompt and courteous in our dealings, official dealings। Observance of government's policy, we should understand which at all times every government servant is supposed to act with the government policy, according to the government policy regarding, बहुत सिंपल से डिफाइन किया, regarding the age of marriage, also preservation of environment, protection of wildlife and cultural heritage। इन सबको भी ध्यान में रखना है और गवर्नमेंट की पॉलिसी को इनसे रिलेटेड जितनी भी गवर्नमेंट की पॉलिसी है उनको ध्यान रखना है। So when you commit yourself to become a government servant or public servant, you are supposed to act the way government wants you to act, right? You just cannot do anything as the way you want to do, right? Observe the government's policy regarding prevention of crime against women। ये भी बहुत ज्यादा ध्यान, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट है रूल 3 का, कि हमको गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसी को ध्यान में रखना है जो प्रिवेंट करता है क्राइम अगेंस्ट वुमेन को। 3C has been specifically made for prohibition of sexual harassment of working women। So no government servant shall indulge in any act of sexual harassment any women at any workplace, right? Every government servant who is in charge of a workplace shall take appropriate steps to prevent sexual harassment to any women at workplace। ये बहुत ज्यादा ध्यान रखने वाली चीज है। इसमें जो मेन पॉइंट है वो यही है, मैं आपको रीड आउट कर देती हूँ। They should not indulge in any act of this, and harassment means what? Physical contact or advances, demand or request for sexual favors, sexually colored remarks। रिमार्क्स भी आपके बहुत सटीक होने चाहिए, बहुत सिंपल तरीके से आपको जो कहना है बात करनी है। किसी भी फीमेल एम्प्लॉयज के साथ स्पेशली नीड टू टेक केयर ऑफ दिस। देन शोइंग पोर्नोग्राफी और एनी अदर अनवेलकमिंग एक्ट्स, verbal or non-verbal conduct of sexual nature। We should understand this is one important सब rule 3C जो है जिसमें बहुत सारे केसेस बनते हैं। So we should avoid all of these things। Government of India decisions under rule number 3, मैंने बहुत सिंपलिस्टिक तरीके में से लिख दिया है कि कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट जो डिसीजंस दिए गए थे फ्रॉम टाइम टू टाइम लिख दिया। डिसऑनेस्ट एम्प्लॉय नॉट टू बी प्लेस्ड इन अ पोजीशन व्हेन देयर इज अ कंसीडरेबल स्कोप फॉर डिस्क्रिशन। आई शुड बी सेइंग डिस्क्रिशन जैसे स्कोप जहां पे डिसीजन मेकिंग होता है, जहां पर पब्लिक डीलिंग भी होती है, उस तरह की जगह पर हमको डिसऑनेस्ट एम्प्लॉय को उस पोजीशन में नहीं रखना है। उनकी जो प्रोसीडिंग चल रही है वो अलग चल रही है। If somebody is dishonest or it has been proven, then the proceedings are going on, but they should not place in a position where discretion is required। Employee to observe due courtesy and regard in their dealings with MPs or MLAs। We should understand no government employee can say that MPs are here or the president is here, the VP is here to हमारे काम में disturbance हो रही है या हमारा time बर्बाद हो रहा है। No, we are the part of we have been assigned by our duties by the by the rules and guidelines framed by the constitution। Constitutional should be given that respect, they should be given that courtesy। Then avoid participation in proselytizing activities like जो रिलीजन कन्वर्शन वाले एक्टिविटीज होते हैं वो सब में पार्टिसिपेट नहीं करना है। टेक केयर ऑफ वाइफ एंड फैमिली। सी आई टोल्ड यू दीज आर ऑल बहुत सिंपल सी चीज है कि गवर्नमेंट सर्विस में टेक केयर ऑफ वाइफ फैमिली क्या हुआ। कंडक्ट इज एक्सपेक्टेड आउट ऑफ यू एट एवरी स्फीयर, not only inside the office but outside the office also। So this is very important government decision also। Avoid practice of untouchability। किसी भी तरह की अनटचेबिलिटी को हम प्रैक्टिस को कोई भी हमारे खिलाफ शिकायत कर देता है, वी आर अंडर द थ्रेट, राइट। डू नॉट एक्ट इन अ डिसकर्टियस मैनर टू ऑब्जर्व प्रॉपर डेकोरम ड्यूरिंग द लंच ब्रेक। लंच ब्रेक हो गया इसका मतलब नहीं आप कुछ भी कर सकते हैं। You have to maintain proper decorum in the office। You have to understand, I think we were discussing yesterday, Director Sir knows it, we were discussing about this yesterday, to obtain permission from competent authority before leaving the station headquarters। I've seen instances like this here happening that people just go, next day WhatsApp आएगा या 2 दिन बाद कुछ भी पता चलेगा कि okay they are outside station। You just cannot leave the office just like that। We must understand that if we are stepping out of the station जिसमें हम स्टेशन है, जिसके लिए हमको असाइन किया गया है, उसके बाहर जाने के लिए हमको बताना बहुत जरूरी है, अपने ऑफिसर को इन्फॉर्म करना बहुत जरूरी, एंड परमिशन सीख करना भी बहुत जरूरी है। टेकिंग फॉर ग्रांटेड दैट ओके इफ वी हैव नॉट हमने इन्फॉर्म कर दिया तो हो गया जी परमिशन, नो, शुड नॉट लाइक दैट, वी शुड अंडरस्टैंड दिस वेरी कैटेगोरिकली। Coming to next set of rules, rule number 4, employment of near relatives of government servant in companies or firms. हमको बहुत ध्यान रखना है कि कोई भी हमारे relatives हैं वो employment में हम उनको help नहीं करें. Suppose I am working in an establishment section, so I should not be doing this. Okay, my brother can come and join here, or some of my close relatives can come and join. I should be favoring them for the employment. If at all I'm working in a good pay position, then I should be informing. अगर for by some way of examination, otherwise fair तरीके से भी अगर मेरा relative employment लेते हैं, तो I should be informing my office that okay, there was no role of mine which was happening, कुछ भी नहीं था, but they have come on their own, so that has to be informed very categorically. Taking part in politics and elections, that is not expected of the government servant कि हम लोग politics में या elections में participate करेंगे, हम politically neutral रहेंगे और हम किसी election rally में या इस तरह की canvassing में हम लोग participate cannot be, are not expected to do this. No government servant should join associations or activities which are prejudicial to the interest of sovereignty and integrity of India or public order or morality. हमको ध्यान रखना है कि हम इस तरह की कोई association या कोई activity को हम join नहीं करेंगे, चाहे वो किसी भी level पे हो, चाहे उसमें और बल्कि इनफैक्ट ये भी एक्सपेक्टेड है गवर्नमेंट सर्वेंट से कि हमारे फैमिली मेंबर्स भी इस तरह की एक्टिविटी को बढ़ावा ना दे, उसमें पार्टिसिपेट ना करें. See, being in a government office is a very big responsibility. It's not only on us, it's on our family members also. We should understand this. Demonstration and strikes. No government servant shall engage himself or participate in any demonstration which is prejudicial to the interest of sovereignty and integrity of India. We should understand we are drawing the funds from government of India. We are taking the funds out of the consolidated funds of India. So हमारी loyalty, हमारी responsibility, हमारी commitment is everything bound to be the best interest of the government of India. So we have to understand कि हम लोग को इस तरह की कोई भी एक्टिविटी में पार्टिसिपेट नहीं करना है, इस तरह को भी डिमॉन्स्ट्रेशन स्ट्राइक्स में पार्टिसिपेट नहीं करना है जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया की इंटीग्रिटी को, सोवरेनिटी को, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को चैलेंज करता है. Resort to or in any way abet any form of strike or coercion or physical violence, इस तरह की कोई एक्टिविटी जहाँ पे मारधाड़ हो रही है, जहाँ पे लोग अक्यूज कर रहे हैं एक दूसरे को, जहाँ पे गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसी के बारे में डिस्कशन हो रही है, we should avoid any of such demonstration activities में कहीं जाने की जरूरत नहीं. यहाँ पे धरना हो रहे हैं, घेराव हो रहे हैं, no, we should not be going. That's what is expected out of us. Then connection with the press or media. I mention it properly. No government servant shall accept with the previous sanction of the government own wholly or in part or conduct or participate in the editing or management of any newspaper or other periodical publication or electronic media. हम लोग directly without unless and until we have been given permission or our job demands that, हमारे को assign भी किया हुआ किस तरह का job आपका है, जैसे हमारे PRO वगैरह होते हैं, they are supposed to do that, but no, otherwise no government servant is allowed to do this. A government servant publishing a book or participating in a public media shall at all times make it clear that his views, the views expressed by him or her, are his or her own and not that of the government. That disclaimer has to be there कि वो आपके views हैं, personal views हैं, not of the government. But still, that should not be against the government policy. That should not be which is defaming the government. We have to understand very clearly. Government of India decision क्या बोलता है? No permission is required for participation in All India radio programs. वो हम जा सकते हैं as government employees because we are supposed to talk, give a talk on certain things also, right? And we are free to receive an honorarium on account of that. Criticism of government. अभी मैंने आपको बताया. No government servant shall in any radio broadcast, telecast through any electronic media or any document published in his or her own. आपको पता हो तो अभी WhatsApp पे भी थोड़े समय पहले बहुत ज्यादा आया था कि हम लोग कुछ भी इस तरह का जो फॉरवर्ड कर रहा था गवर्नमेंट सर्वेंट, अगर WhatsApp पे फॉरवर्ड्स भी लगा रहा है, वो गवर्नमेंट को क्रिटिसाइज कर रहा है या पॉलिसीज को क्रिटिसाइज कर रहा है, they were also under the ambit of the misconduct. You know what? So we have to be very, very cautious about in our forwarding stuffs also. And if we have our opinion, that should be within the boundaries of our residence, within the circle of our close friends. not otherwise. We just cannot openly talk or we discuss or we can express our views. We are not allowed to, right? And we should not make any statement of fact or opinion which has the effect of an adverse criticism of any current or recent policy or action of the central government or a state government, which is capable of embarrassing the relationship between central government and state government or central government or the government of any other foreign state. We should understand this very clearly. हम लोग criticize करने के लिए open नहीं है. As I've told you, हम लोग जब government service opt करते हैं, हमारे कुछ freedom को curtail किया जाता है to the best and to safeguard the interest of the government. We should understand. We should be acting that way. Likewise, provided that nothing in this rule shall apply to any statement made or views expressed by the government servant in his official capacity. As I've told you, official capacity में अगर आपको allow कर देगा तो we should definitely be doing this, right? Because that's a performance of your duty. That's a part of that. Evidence before committee or any other authority. किसी भी तरह का evidence, किस तरह की court proceedings है या कहीं पर है जहाँ पर आपको evidence देना है जो government rules के लिए है या government policies के लिए या government के काम को डिफाइन करती है, उसके बयान उस तरह के एविडेंस आपको कभी नहीं देने हैं. कम्युनिकेशन ऑफ ऑफिशियल इंफॉर्मेशन that should be specifically, that should strictly be as per the RTI thingy कि आप किस तरह से ऑफिशियल इंफॉर्मेशन को डिस्क्लोज करते हैं. लेकिन अदरवाइज एवरीथिंग इज पब्लिक इंफॉर्मेशन, आपको देना ही देना. आपको जितना हो सके आपको उसको अपने पोर्टल पे भी दिखाना है, उसको ओपन रखना है जहां unless and until those are restricted by the RTI Act. Subscription. No government servant shall accept with the previous of the government or the prescribed authority ask or accept contributions to or otherwise associate himself with the raising of any funds or other collection in cash or kind. आपको कभी भी किस तरह का सब्सक्रिप्शन ना किसी से लेना है ना देना है. They are not allowed. लेकिन इसके राइडर क्या क्या है, जैसे नेशनल फ्लैग डे आने वाला है, फ्लैग डे में हम लोग लेते हैं और फिर सारे गवर्नमेंट का इकट्ठा करके हम लोग थ्रू प्रॉपर चैनल दैट इज डिपॉजिटेड राइट इन द गवर्नमेंट, सो बेस्ड टू द गवर्नमेंट. सो बेसिकली दोस काइंड ऑफ उस तरह के सारे एक्सेप्शन सब जगह अलाउड है. सो वी कैन गो इन डिटेल लेटर ऑन बिकॉज आई हैव बीन ओनली 1 hour, so I would roughly be covering everything. So subscription वैसे allowed नहीं है. Gifts and dowries, we should understand no government servants allow take dowry. If a government servant is getting married and he is taking dowry and all, he can lose his government job if reported born. So किसी भी तरह का गिफ्ट्स आपको लेना अलाउड नहीं है, डाउरी भी लेना अलाउड नहीं है. गिफ्ट्स के भी डिफाइंड है. ग्रुप ए ऑफिसर 25,000 तक ले सकता है, ग्रुप बी ऑफिसर जो है 15,000 तक ले सकता है, ग्रुप सी और डी 7,500 तक का ले सकता है, वो भी अपने रिलेटिव से, नॉट अदरवाइज. यू आर नॉट सपोज्ड टू टेक गिफ्ट्स और ऑब्लिगेशंस और पार्टीज में जाना या कोई आपको पब्लिक फिगर है जो मान लीजिए कोई रिचेस्ट पीपल है यहाँ के सिटी के, वो आपको बुला रहे हैं बार बार पार्टीज में. नो दीज आर ऑल मिसकंडक्ट. वी जस्ट कैन नॉट डू दिस. अगर हम चले गए और कोई कहीं आके आपको रेस्टोरेंट में मिल गया, दैट्स नॉट कॉल्ड मिसकंडक्ट. बट इफ यू आर intentionally you're visiting their place again and again for the parties or for the drinks, or you're taking their transport facilities, or your family members are taking, those are all constituted as misconduct. So we should understand this very clearly. Public demonstration मैंने अभी बताया था आपको, in honor of the government servant also. Suppose कोई रिटायर कर रहे हैं हमारे यहाँ से, अब उनकी रिटायरमेंट पार्टी पे सपोज यहाँ के MLA कोई पार्टी थ्रो कर रहे हैं या कोई बहुत रिच क्लास somebody is throwing the party. No, we are not supposed to indulge in such duties. We should be very, very clear on that. Private trade or employment, very, very important thing which we all of us must be understanding. कि हम लोग जब employment, government employment, we are not allowed to take up any private engagement. We should not be indulging or engaging ourselves directly or indirectly in any trade or business without prior permission. We cannot hold an elective office. We cannot canvass in support of any business or insurance agency. We are not supposed to do that. Rule 15 के exception क्या मैं आपको बताऊंगी. 15A, the subletting and vacation of government accommodation. आपको government accommodation दिया गया है, लेकिन आप उसको उसमें खुद रहने की बजाय किसी और को सबलेट कर देते हो. That is again not allowed. This is again a misconduct and it comes under the scanner of conduct rules. We should understand. Exceptions regarding Rule 15, जो अभी बताया था मैंने कि आप private trading कर सकते कि नहीं. You can undertake any honorary work of social or charitable nature. Of course, all of these would be requiring a permission. Sports activity में आप participate कर सकते हो. Free to go and take up any sports activity. Yes. Take part of a literary, scientific or charitable society with the aim of promotion of sports cultural activities. Yes, you can do that. Take part in promotion management of cooperative society, but not to hold any elective office. आप कोई भी तरह का elective office hold नहीं करेंगे, लेकिन आप उनकी activity में participate कर सकते हैं. Part-time examinership in university, it is permitted. Then medical practice during office spare time or office after office hours. ठीक है, मेडिकल प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हैं. इसीलिए हमारे लोग कर भी रहे हैं. If you know, can enroll himself as an advocate in bar council, लेकिन they should not engage in legal profession. Right? हमको ये समझना है कि we are a fixed income bracket employee. हमारी income fixed है, so we should learn how to live within that fixed income. कि हमने चूज किया कि हमने fixed income group में जाना है, तो हम लोग को हमारे conduct वैसे ही expected है government से. This is already spelled out in the government books. We should not, the government employees are not supposed to indulge in the investment, lending and borrowing. आपको किसी भी तरह की brokerage वाला काम नहीं करना है. कोई भी जहाँ पर आपको interest earn होना है, सट्टा नहीं करना है, वो सब investment आपको नहीं करना है. Normal trading जो आप share में करते हैं, वो that's fine. But then we cannot go in for, you know, बहुत पूरा दिन जो trading होता है, सट्टा जो होता है, that is not supposed to be done by us. Lending and borrowing, we are not supposed to. आपने interest पे पैसा दिया या पैसा लिया, these are not actually done. I mean, this should not be discouraged by the government employees. Insolvency and habitual indebtedness. Insolvency से बचना. आप already fixed bracket, fixed income group में हैं. आपको उससे ज़्यादा खर्चा avoid करना है. उससे ज़्यादा आपको insolvent नहीं होना है. Habitual indebtedness. In this case, अगर कोई supervisor है, वो सोचे हाँ मैं अपने junior से पैसा मांग सकता हूँ, अपने juniors को बोल सकता है लाओ मेरा ये लोन चुकाना है या मेरा एक क्रेडिट कार्ड का बिल पे करना, तुम पे करो. You are not. You are under the misconduct bracket. We cannot do that, right? Then immovable, valuable property जितनी भी हमको government को दिखानी पड़ती है. All of us know we are all group employees are supposed to fill up that return also, right? Vindication of acts and characters of a government servant. No government servant shall, except with the previous act of the government, have recourse to any court or the press or vindication of any official act. आप तुरंत उठ के नहीं, हमारे बॉस ने ऐसा कह दिया हम प्रेस में डाल देंगे. No, that's not happening. It's not happening in our government office. Of course not. Right? Nothing in this rule shall be deemed to prohibit a government servant from vindicating his private character on any act done by him in private capacity. Private capacity अलग बात है. Official act के लिए you cannot go to any press or court or any other. किसी भी group में जाके आप इस तरह की बात नहीं कर पाएंगे. Right? Government of India decisions क्या कहते हैं? Government servants seeking redressal of their grievances arising out of the employment or condition of service should, in their own interest and also consistently with official propriety and discipline, first exhaust the normal official channel of redress. सबसे पहले आपको normal official channel of redressal follow करना है. अगर आपको लगता है कि मेरे साथ ऑफिस में जाती हुई है या मेरे कुछ grievances हैं, so पहले आप सारे official channel exhaust करिए, उसके बाद ही आप directly कहीं और जा सकते हैं. So all of us need to understand. Our female employees too, male employees too. We should understand. First of all, exhaust all channels and then take the issue to the code of law. Right? Then government servant who may be convicted in a criminal court, जो अभी सर ने बताया था, डायरेक्टर साहब ने बताया था कि अगर if you have been convicted in a criminal court, then you are supposed to inform the official superior officially, right, about the fact of the conviction and the circumstances connected therewith. ये बताना ऑफिस को inform करना बहुत ज़्यादा जरूरी है. Canvassing of non-official or outside influence, very relevant in our case. मैंने इसीलिए कुछ matters को expand करके दिखाया. Canvassing बहुत ज़्यादा होती है government offices में. No government servant shall bring or attempt to bring any political or other outside influence. आपको इस तरह की कोई भी influence लाने की जरूरत नहीं है. To bear upon any superior authority to further his interest in respect of matters pertaining to his or her service under the government. No, this kind of canvassing is not at all allowed. If somebody is doing it, somebody can be, charge sheeted. That is what it is. If violated the rules the first time, an advisory letter is to be issued. सबसे पहले अगर इस तरह का होता है, तो सबसे पहला काम होता है उनको advisory letter issue करना to desist them for approaching to approach MPs or MLAs or otherwise. In second time, a warning letter should be issued and a copy to be placed in CR dossier. And in third time, a disciplinary action is to be initiated. So we must understand this kind of canvassing is not at all allowed. उससे भी ज़्यादा छोटी सी बात है, representation by the family member should also be discouraged. No family member should be coming with you and try to, influence upon here, in the office. You have, since we understand that we have opted for the government service, we are the one who have chosen to work in the environment with these set of people. जिस तरह हमको तो नहीं पता हम किस ऑफिस में जा रहे हैं, लेकिन हमारी चॉइस है कि हम हमारे, तो हमको उस कंडक्ट रूल को फॉलो करना है, गवर्नमेंट के गाइडलाइंस को फॉलो करना है. Not in any case we should bring in our family members to support us or because we never, the government never committed कि आपके family को support करें. No, the government said if you work, we'll be giving you the salary. You are supposed to work in this line, we are supposed to work in this line. That's it. That's the end of it. So no representation by the family member should be discouraged. Restrictions regarding marriage very clearly defined. जो गवर्नमेंट सर्वेंट है उनकी रेस्ट्रिक्शंस है, आपकी ऑलरेडी शादी हो रखी है, जो कोड ऑफ लॉ कहता है उसके हिसाब से हमको चलना है, दूसरी शादी नहीं करनी. ऑल ऑफ दोस थिंग्स जो गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसीज कहती है, वी शुड stick to that. We cannot just do anything like any other private person doing. No, we are a government servant. We should be following the government rules and guidelines, and we should be acting in a lawful manner. Consumption of intoxicating drinks and drugs. बहुत ऑफिस में सुना जाता है, बट दिस इज ऑल्सो अ मिसकंडक्ट. सो अभी तक अगर किसी को कुछ सुनना नहीं पड़ा है, अभी तक उन पे कंडक्ट रूल अप्लाई नहीं किए गए, तो दे शुड नॉट टेक इट फॉर ग्रांटेड. एनी टाइम this is not at all allowed. The consumption of intoxicating drinks or drugs or the materials not allowed in the office, of course not. हमारे से मतलब otherwise भी expected नहीं है, because see we are 24/7 accountable to the government. It's like that. It's not 10 to 5 job. We must understand this. So our conduct, everything is otherwise we are liable to the government at any stage of time. Prohibition regarding employment of children below 14 years of age. आपके घर में कोई काम कर रहा है या आप किसी और से गाड़ी साफ करवा रहे हैं, they should not be below the children. You should not employ any child below 14 years of age because that's not allowed by the law. So हमको ये पता है कि हम गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉय से, तो हमको कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के तहत जितनी भी चीजें सब फॉलो करनी, सारे लॉज फॉलो करने, सारे रूल्स एंड गाइडेंस फॉलो करने, सारे गवर्नमेंट रूल्स जो हमको डिफाइन करेंगे, गाइडलाइंस जो डिफाइन करेंगे, वो फॉलो करनी है. इंटरप्रिटेशन इन केस ऑफ एनी डाउट कि ये रूल को किस तरह से हमको समझ नहीं आ रहा है, ये रूल हमको बिल्कुल अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है, या हमको बिल्कुल उसको इंटरप्रेट करने में तकलीफ आ रही है, so we should be referring to the government. In our case we are referring to the council, right? If council wants, they can refer to further authorities. DOPT ने बनाया तो DOPT को भेजेंगे, कहीं और भेजेंगे, लेकिन जो गवर्नमेंट का रूल होगा, जो डिसीजन होगा, वो फाइनल होगा. जिसने सबसे पहले टॉप में उसको इनिशिएट करा है, जो वो अपना डिसीजन देंगे, वो फाइनल होगा. उसके ऊपर कोई हाँ या ना नहीं है. Delegation of powers. If anybody, suppose any person who is holding a supervisory role and they have been given powers, they can always decide upon this how they want to delegate the powers to their subordinates in a definite way. So that has to be crystal clear तरीके से उसको spell out करना पड़ता है. Repeal and saving of these rules. इससे related है कि CCS conduct rules में से कोई चीज repeal करी गई या saving करी गई, तो वो rules के basic जो स्ट्रक्चर है उसको ना छेड़ेंगे, वो सब दैट्स रिलेटेड टू दैट ओनली. जो रूल्स बने उसके रिपील और सेविंग के लिए है. सो आई वांट एक्चुअली टॉक ऑन दैट. कंडक्ट एंड डिसिप्लिन, वेरी सिंपल. वी शुड अंडरस्टैंड दिस. द पंच लाइन, इट इज अ जनरल कॉन्सेप्ट. कंडक्ट कैसा होना चाहिए, डिसिप्लिन कैसा होना चाहिए, इट्स अ जनरल कॉन्सेप्ट, नॉट ओनली रिलेटेड टू द रिलेशनशिप ऑफ एम्प्लॉयर एंड एम्प्लॉय. इट इज फॉर ऑल ऑफ अस. हम लोग अदरवाइज in our life also, in conducting the family also, we need to maintain certain behavior and discipline. So it's not that के office में है तो करना है. No, it's otherwise. It's a normal general concept. And it's very much concerned with the citizens and their acts towards society. सब सिटीजन से अलाउड है. उनको एक सोसाइटी, हम लोग सोसाइटी में रह रहे हैं, वी आर अ सोशल एनिमल. वी शुड अंडरस्टैंड दैट आवर कंडक्ट एंड डिसिप्लिन शुड बी सच कि किसी और को हम नुकसान नहीं पहुंचा रहे हैं. इफ वी आर गवर्नमेंट सर्वेंट, वी आर ड्रॉइंग द मनी फ्रॉम द गवर्नमेंट, वी शुड नो कि हम लोग गवर्नमेंट को कोई थ्रेट नहीं पहुंचा रहे हैं. दैट्स वेरी सिंपल. लास्ट not the least, objective of the conduct rules क्या है, objective क्या है सबको. इतनी सारी बोल दी गई, सारी बातें बोल दी गई, इतनी सारी slides मैंने दिखाई. What are the objectives? Simple. To regulate general behavior of the government servant. हमारा general behavior कैसा होना चाहिए वो regulate करता है. कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट कि हम मिसबिहेव नहीं करेंगे, हम इम्पार्शियल रहेंगे, हम लोग अच्छे से कर्टियस तरीके से बात करेंगे और हम किसी की भी काम को प्रॉम्प्टली करेंगे ताकि कोई गवर्नमेंट काम में डिले ना हो, राइट? सो जनरल बिहेवियर ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट सर्वेंट टू सिक्योर फुल कमिटमेंट ऑफ अ गवर्नमेंट सर्वेंट इन इम्प्लीमेंटिंग द गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसीज। गवर्नमेंट ये कंडक्ट रूल्स आपको बाइंड कर देते हैं कि आप गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसीज को अच्छे से उसका निर्वाह करेंगे, उसको आप अच्छे से इंप्लीमेंट कर पाएंगे। टू सेट सर्टेन मॉरल स्टैंडर्ड्स, बहुत रिक्वायर्ड है मॉरल स्टैंडर्ड सेट करने, नॉट ओनली इन ऑफिस अदरवाइज आल्सो, राइट? टू एलिमिनेट ऑल फॉर्म्स ऑफ इमोरल एंड इमीडिएट बिहेवियर which are like to impact on government servants capabilities to discharge duties। तो इस तरह के कोई भी बिहेवियर है, लाइक आप किसी से आप फेवर ले रहे हैं या आप किसी के ऑब्लिगेशन में आ रहे हैं, तो वो आपके इम्पैक्ट करते हैं आपकी ड्यूटीज को डिस्चार्ज करने में। तो इसीलिए रूल्स बनाए कि आप नहीं लेंगे तो वो दैट वुड एलिमिनेट all kind of immoral and immediate behavior, right, which would impact the performance of our duties. Then to make government servant to learn to live within his means since he belongs to fixed income group। मैंने आपको पहले ही बोल दिया एक्चुअली, ये गवर्नमेंट सर्वेंट जो है वो एक फिक्स्ड इनकम ग्रुप में जाता है, तो उसको जीना है, उसको जीना आना चाहिए अपने फिक्स्ड इनकम ग्रुप में। इसलिए वो रूल बना है, रूल 15, कि आप प्राइवेट एंगेजमेंट्स नहीं लेंगे, कुछ भी आउटसाइड द गवर्नमेंट ऑफिस, यू शुड नॉट बी होल्डिंग एनीथिंग। देन टू प्रिवेंट गवर्नमेंट सर्वेंट फ्रॉम अलाइनिंग अगेंस्ट गवर्नमेंट और एक्सरसाइजिंग अनड्यू इन्फ्लुएंस और ड्यूरेस। सिंपल इज दैट, आप गवर्नमेंट सर्वेंट को अलाइन रहना है विद द गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसीज, यू शुड नॉट बी डूइंग एनीथिंग व्हिच इज अगेंस्ट इट। एंड विद दिस आई वुड लाइक टू thank everybody, and my sincere thanks to Vipin sir and Director Saab for giving me this opportunity. So thank you so much. It was so wonderful talking to all of you. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Sunita. Such an excellent presentation and talk. So earlier I was of the opinion that it is very difficult for you to speak in Hindi, but you are speaking very excellent Hindi. My English is not so good, so now I used to speak with you in Hindi. So excellent presentation. As mentioned, of course, he is not the expert of this, but it is simply a code of conduct. We all must know that how we have to act in the civil society, and what are the conduct rule is just our act. That how we will move in the society is just framed in the words for in the name of code of conduct. So now we know that what we have to do and what we have not to do. So there is a very little scope for not to do. We have to do, that's all. In a nutshell, it is expected from the government employee or a public employee to be courteous and to do everything which is unbecoming of the government employee. So now it is open for the discussion, and I think Meena Saab, the senior AO, is also here, and he will also facilitate in responding to the queries if there is any from our colleagues. And also we want that after this discussion, we want that if something is there in the code of conduct which has not been spelled out by the Sunita and it is essential, he can supplement. So I request, now it is open for discussion. So please, first of all, I request everybody to unveil your face, because we have to take a screenshot also, so we can see. So please, and it is open for the discussion. If you have some reservation about your code of conduct, you can clarify that. We are having our senior AO also, and our director is also here. He is having a very long experience. He can tell what to do or what not to do. And our heads are also here. So please. इंदर राज मीना जी हैं क्या? मीना जी आप डिस्प्ले तो हो रहे हैं पर दिख नहीं रहे हैं तो कुछ अगर आप अपनी तरफ से कहना चाहते हो। हाँ, आप दिख रहे हैं, प्लीज कुछ बताएं डूज एंड डोंट्स के बारे में, जो आपने अभी ज्वाइन किया है और जो नहीं हो रहा है। रिगार्डिंग द फर्स्ट पॉइंट, पंक्चुअलिटी, which specifically mentioned by the Sunita about the punctuality. and you have circulate one of the circular regarding the punctuality, and you have mentioned that the CL will be detected, how it will be detected, and what further is there. So Meena ji, आप दिख तो रहे हैं, joined हैं, but I think it is through mobile or something else, because आपका जो है ऑडियो नहीं दिख रहा इसमें. I think no query is there. Smita has explained in a very excellent manner that everybody understand the code of conduct, and it is good for the young scientists who have joined, because वो एक कवि कहते हैं ना, हम तो चुके हुए हैं. That means those who are at the verge of retirement. So they have already followed the code of conduct and everything. But after retirement also, the code of conduct is essential for the pensioners also. Otherwise, pension will be waived off. So I think it is a must for we people also who are at the verge of retirement. But if any query, anything you want that can be explained. If not, then I'll request Director Saab if he want to add something. Sir, if you are listening, that please, and while we have to take the this screenshot. Director sir. Sir, I think you are busy. So we साहब करेंगे तो साहब ने कौन 1 मिनट वास्ते आ जाओ हैं हाँ नहीं आओ नहीं है चलिए हम वेबिनार.
अच्छा एक बात थोड़ा सा मैं करूं. गोयल साहब बैठे हैं, आप सुने हैं यार. गोयल साहब, ये मैंने पहले भी हेड्स की मीटिंग में भी डिस्कस किया था. एक क्योंकि अभी विपिन जी ने जिक्र किया कि पंक्चुअलिटी की बात है, टाइम की, तो कैन हम उसको फिर रिस्टोर कर सकते हैं कोई अटेंडेंस मैकेनिज्म?
नहीं, ठीक है. मैं सोचते हैं इस चीज के लिए कि और इसका कोई ऑल्टरनेट क्या हो सकता है. इस तरह का कोई ऐसी मतलब ऐसा हो कि जो इंटरनेट बेस्ड नहीं हो, क्योंकि दिक्कत उसकी आती है.
अपना भी हो जाए तो भी बहुत. गोयल साहब, ये मैंने पहले भी मीटिंग में भी डिस्कस किया था. क्योंकि अभी विपिन जी ने जिक्र किया कि पंक्चुअलिटी के बाद टाइम
एक यूट्यूब चल रहा है, इसको बंद कर दें.
रिस्टोर कर सकते हैं कोई अटेंडेंस मैकेनिज्म?
एक यूट्यूब को बंद कर दें. यूट्यूब चल रहा है. सोचते हैं इस चीज के लिए कि और इसका कोई ऑल्टरनेट क्या हो सकता है. इस तरह का कोई ऐसी मतलब ऐसा हो कि जो इंटरनेट बेस्ड नहीं हो, दिक्कत उसकी आती है.
भी हो जाए तो भी बहुत. गोयल साहब, ये मैंने पहले मीटिंग में भी डिस्कस किया था. अभी विपिन जी ने जिक्र किया कि पंक्चुअलिटी के बाद
एक यूट्यूब चल रहा है, इसको बंद कर दें.
रिस्टोर कर सकते हैं कोई अटेंडेंस मैकेनिज्म?
एक यूट्यूब को बंद कर दें. यूट्यूब चल रहा है.
क्या हो रहा है भाई ये? Friends, I think some of you, can you identify?
सिंह साहब, आपका यूट्यूब ऑन है क्या? सिंह साहब, आपका यूट्यूब ऑन है क्या? किसी का यूट्यूब चल रहा है.
क्या हो रहा है भाई ये? क्या हो रहा है भाई ये?
सब लोग म्यूट कर लेंगे. वीडियो ने म्यूट कर लेंगे, ना बंद हो जाए. सबने म्यूट कर ले अपने आप.
चलिए ठीक है, गुड. So your lecture is over? Hello, Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So lecture is over. What is the next item then?
Your
Discussion is
comments.
done or still?
There was no question, sir. It's your comments are last. Your comments on that.
I want to submit something because of some disturbance. I could not say anything.
Now you please say.
Sir, in some of our ICR institutes, only biometric, our machines are presently not